Hi guys, and welcome to Tuesday Friday with FIXITGEARWARE-SECURITY. It's been an awesome week so far. We've been busy with a lot of things, and part of the project we have at hand is the C programming course for cybersecurity newbies and professionals alike. And we first want to apologize for still delaying the course because we are considering a lot of factors before we put out this course out there. And one of those factors is that the economic situation of the country and the world at large is not quite a feasible one. And we know people are working hard just to, earn a living and make something out for themselves. So after considering all these factors, we do not want to create a course whereby people parting away with their money and not getting the quality of the content. So making a little adjustment while we're still doing the recording and editing, give us some time. But I promise you, once this course is out, it's going to be an interesting one. And by the time you're done, you're not just going to have an idea of what C programming is. The course also has an infusion of computer science, whereby you will understand the fundamentals, like the basics and the concept on how programs are executed, how the memory tries to read these programs at each address, which is known as the word. And of course, when these codes are executed, what are the various tools used in terms of the compiler or assembler for the execution of the code. Also, in this same course, you'll be learning the concept of programming, not just writing codes or cramming. You understand the basics, the concept of how data are parsed, how you can initialize data, and how you can, create functions depending on the concept of how you want your code to execute. So we've been working on that, and hopefully once we're done, we'll publish the course and we're going to tell you the cost for it. And we hope you will patronize and support us in your own little way. It's going to come with a fee, quite not exorbitant, but at the same time not cheap, because we want you to also know that you're getting something of good quality. So that's just it. And next is that we want to know how your week has been going so far in terms of your learning regarding cybersecurity. So I would like to know if you've really been putting out the effort to learn on your own, because that's the most important thing about this profession. Okay. Cybersecurity is not about consuming content on social media like the InfoSec Twitter or X as it's known, or YouTube by watching a lot of videos. Go out there, put in the work. So when I mean put in the work is that write some simple codes, write some documentation. It can be a blog publication. It can even be a post on X. Just write something to show that you're actually learning, and ensure that whatever you're putting out there is not a replica of what others are doing, because you want to carve a niche for yourself and also be unique in your own way of publication and content that you're feeding out there for others to consume and also study from. So that being said, I hope you are trying your best and you're doing well, and I hope life gets better for you, for those who are struggling. And for those who are here to get a breakthrough in life, just keep hanging on. Life is tough, I know, and I'm not going to downplay your emotions or what you're going through. But I promise you, as long as you don't give up and as long as you put on the effort and work hard, God Himself will surely come for you. The universe will listen to you, and of course, you will have that breakthrough. Okay? So, that being said, let's get started with this week's episode. On this week's episode of Tuesday Friday with FIXITGEARWARE-SECURITY, it's going to be a general tools, troubleshooting, and Windows 10 ISO build. And we decided to do this to just resolve a few issues that has to do with installation with Go, and how you can also generate your own ISO file to install your own Windows operating system. Especially when it comes to building your own labs, you don't want to go out there to download already built ISO files from untrusted resources out there. It's scary because at the end of the day, you might think you've downloaded something that is reliable, but not knowing that the author of that ISO file has built in a form of Bitcoin mining software. Okay, it happens. Sorry, it happens. People can just make a tool out of their generosity, and you being naive and not being suspicious would download that tool only to find out that you have downloaded a malware, or your computer is a botnet that acts or functions as a mining tool for cryptocurrency. So for this week, as we said, we'll be talking first how to permanently fix the Go GROOT issues in Kali Linux running on VirtualBox machines. As you know, when you install the Go, you would have this issue of cannot, GROOT to libexec and all those gibberish error informations. So after going back and forth and troubleshooting these issues, we finally resolved it, and we want to put out the content out here to share with you. Then after that, we'll be moving on to showing you how to remove older versions of Go and installing the latest versions of Go, because it's very important you know this, especially for those who are not really expert in fixing technical issues when it comes to software or tools regarding Go or other tools in cybersecurity. But today, it's just going to be Go, okay? So we'll teach you that. We'll teach you how to fix the Go issues, installing the new Go versions. After that, we'll be moving on to showing you how to manually install Go tools using Go build without the need of troubleshooting the direct GitHub installations. So, when you want to install the Go tool, you need to use the Go command and clone directly from the GitHub repository, right? Sometimes also because you're running a virtual machine or you're running Kali on a VirtualBox appliance, you wouldn't be able to do this. And of course, when you also try to do it, you might be experiencing errors. So that will also be showing you on how to do that. Then when we're done, we will build an ISO file for Windows 10 and show you how you can use the Create Media by Microsoft to build your own ISO file. So Microsoft, as we know, over the years have been evolving on how they run the applications and software, right from the Microsoft Office 365 for Business down to the Windows installation. So the Windows installation right now, you do not need to get a CD or try to download an ISO file already made, because Microsoft has been very smart in trying to prevent piracy and protecting their intellectual property. That's the reason why they created this Create Media file, which you can use in building the ISO file for the Windows operating system 10 of your choice. So this is all we are going to do today, and we promise the video is going to be very short. For the option number 1, we've already solved this issue, but we'll just walk you through on the code and show you how it is done. Then for the option number 2, we would delete an existing Go version we have, download a fresh one, and of course, show you how it is done. Then for the third option, that is going to take us cloning a repository and showing you how to build. Then for the fourth one as well, the same thing. So please follow the steps. And if you have any issues after watching the video, do not hesitate to tag us on our social media, especially on X, and tell us the problem you're facing, and we'll definitely reply you in the comments. So to do that, we have to log in into our Kali Linux machine. Now we're in our Kali Linux machine. Over here, to fix the GROOT issues, I suggest you first run the sudo apt get update and sudo apt get upgrade command -y to ensure that your Linux machine is currently updated and running the latest version. Okay, that is done. Now, whenever you experience the GROOT issues, right, don't panic. Just run this command, okay? We wouldn't be running this command because we've already done that. And once you're done running this command, you hit enter. Once you've done this, the next thing you need to do is you say nano, sorry about that. Then we assess the profile, okay? Now, once you assess the profile, at the top, you can see here, we made a comment, what we added. This code, make sure you write this code the way it is: export space path equals to $path colon user local go and bin. This is what you need to do. This code right here, okay? From the export here down to this place. Write this code. And once you're done, you save it. Then the next thing you want to do is to refresh your bash database. So to do that, you run this command, source, okay, and run the bash rc. Remember, we said if you're using the bash terminal, you run this, but if you're using the ZSH, you run this. So here we are using the bash, okay, on this OS. So we just run this, and that's done. Now, if you type Go version and you hit enter, now you can see we have the latest Go version, okay? So that is how you can resolve these GROOT issues, especially if you follow the steps. Alternatively, when you've run this source command and you're not getting this Go version, okay, just reboot the system and run this command again and type the Go version. That will resolve the issue. So whenever you install a new Go or update your Go version, you don't have any issues again regarding Go. Now, we have concluded this. Let's move on to showing you how to install the latest version of Go, especially if you're running an older version, okay? The first thing you want to do is that you want to download the Go latest. So first, let's go to our downloads and ensure we don't have it there. Okay, okay, we don't have it here, so we clear this. Okay, then we head on to Go official website. Now be very careful, okay? Do not download ARM, okay? Look for Kali and look for AMD. You can see this is for Linux, right? And we have the AMD 64. Don't download the ARM 64, okay? Then you click on download. Now, once we are done, by default, okay, let's ls, you can see we have it here, right? Okay, now let's open a new terminal. Now, by default, Go has a path known as user, local, and Go, okay? So this is where Go resides. It resides in the user local, then its own directory, right? So whenever you install a Go application under the Go binary path that has been created, and you run the Go command, this is where the path that would be fetched to run that Go binary file. So we have to first remove that path before we can install the fresh Go. So what do? To remove that path, we say sudo rm rf/user/local/go, okay? Then we hit enter. We provide our password. Okay. Now, to verify this, if we say Go version, you can see there is no Go, right? Okay. Now we head on back to our downloads. We say tar xvzf, and we unzip this. We want to unzip the Go file. We just downloaded. So we say paste clipboard, and we hit enter. Good. Now, if we ls, you can see we have Go right now, right? Now, the next thing is I want to move this directory to the user local. Remember, we have the user local Go. So we don't have to specify the Go path. We just have to specify the user local. And this will now move that Go directory into that user local path. So how do we do this? We say sudo mv, then we specify the directory Go user/local, and we hit enter. Now if we ls right now, we do not have Go anymore, right? So let's remove the file we just downloaded. We don't have use for this anymore. And we paste clipboard, and hit enter. Okay, good. So there's no more Go, right? So let's go back to the root, clear. So the next thing we want to do is that we want to type the command x refresh. Good. Then after that, we say source tilde bash rc. Good. And we say Go version. And as you can see, we have the latest Go. So we've shown you how to fix the GROOT issues and how to update your Go. So with this methodology, you do not have any issues again regarding Go installations. Now, the next thing we want to do is that we want to show you how to build Go tools, especially when you're trying to download older versions of the tools, which do not have the latest Go code, but can be run with the latest versions of Go anyway. It doesn't matter if the tool was written on Go 1.0, as long as you have Go installed on your Kali Linux machine, it's going to run the tool, even the code is running on an obsolete version of Go. Go is still going to execute the tool. But the problem here is that most times when you try to clone these repositories from GitHub directly using the Go install, it's always an issue. After installing, it's going to tell you that Go doesn't find the tool, or there's an error, there's an issue. The reason is that a lot of issues with installing Go tools on Kali Linux VirtualBox just happen because the path is not correctly, read by these older versions of the tool or even the latest version of the tool. And of course, another problem is that Go is always, releasing newer versions, right? So if that tool was, rating with, let's say, for example, 1.21, and now we're running 1.23.1, right? It's going to have these conflicting issues. Okay, so we're going to show you this easy way, and we're demonstrating this with Meg tool by TomNumNum, a very old tool, which has been known to be used out there for pen testing and bug bounty hunting. Now, to prove to you that we don't have Meg here, say Meg-H, you can see we do not have the Meg tool, right? Good. So we go to TomNumNum GitHub account. This is the Meg tool, right? Good. Now, the next thing we want to do is that we want to install the Meg binary file, right? Because we cannot do the git clone and the whole issue that comes with it. So the first thing we want to do is that we go to TomNumNum Meg directory. Okay, this is the directory you should be seeing. Click on latest. Once you see this icon latest, ignore this because these are older versions like obsolete, and there has been a lot of errors here. So you just click on this. So to download, you download the AMD 64, but not Darwin. Make sure it's AMD 64 for Linux or just Linux, okay? So for me, I would download either one of these. Either I download this for Linux or I download this AMD 64. So let's go with AMD 64, okay? Previously, we tested with these other versions. We just want you to ignore them. Don't download Darwin, okay? Just look for whatever that has Linux in it and download either AMD 64 once again or just Linux, okay? So once you're done, you ls. Now you can see we previously have Darwin here, right? So we'll remove this not to complicate issues for you. So we say sudo rm-rf. Let's remove the Darwin so you don't get issues understanding this. So we paste clipboard and we hit enter, clear. The next thing we do is we ls. Now this is the Meg version of the tool, right? So how do? We untar this file. So we say tar xvzf. We copy this and we paste clipboard and we hit enter. Now you can see we have the Meg tool. So the next thing we do is we say chmod, change mode, +X, then we say Meg. Okay, so now Meg has been turned to an executable file. So the next thing we want to do after we have created an executable file of Meg is that we want to move it into the binary directory. This is directory where whenever you run the Go tool, it's going to pick the file from and access this file to run the tool or the file if it is reading on Go language. Okay, so for us to be able to allow Go to read this Meg tool, we have to move it into the Go bin, which is the Go directory, subdirectory, the bin directory, which is also the binary directory. Okay, so to do that, we run this command sudo mv, we say Meg, and of course we specify the root, then we say go, then we say bin, and that's it. Okay, now the next thing we do is we run this command x refresh, clear, and if we cd into go and cd into bin, and we ls, we can see that Meg is there. So if we say Meg -h, you can see right now we have the tool running. Okay, so that's how you run binary tools, Go tools that don't have the, how you can directly clone them from the GitHub repository. Okay, you don't have to panic, you don't have to worry about that anymore. But there's an exception In a case whereby there is no binary version of that, all you need to do is just clone the repository, head into the repository, then you run the go build command and output the name of the file you want. Let's say the tool is meg, to say meg. That is in the directory which we cloned, the GitHub directory, not the go bin directory, okay? Then we specify the main.go file, which is the main.go file, which is responsible for holding all the codes or the sub files, which is to be run by the main.go. So the main.go is the master file or the main file, okay? An exception to this is that most times, tool developers would not use the main.go, okay? They would create a different name, which serves as the main.go, okay? So it's very important that you read the documentation. When you get to GitHub online repository of a Go tool that is built with Go language, try and read the documentation. That documentation will give you an insight which of the files in the directory or in the repository that holds or that serves as the main.go file, okay? So with that, we have concluded everything about Go. So even if we go back to the, cd to the root, and we clear and we say make.h, you can see it's here right now, right? And it's very simple, okay? So once again, we have done and we have concluded everything about installing the Go tool. The next thing we want to do right now is the final tools demonstration for the day on how you can build your own ISO file or your own Windows OS ISO file you need to use to install your operating system for your own private labs. So to do that, we have to shut down the VirtualBox machine and head on to our host machine. So to download or create your own Windows 10 ISO file, you need to head on to Microsoft, okay? So Microsoft, as a way of protecting their intellectual property, have stopped disclosing links to this ISO file, and as a way of also protecting these various files from being exploited by malicious hackers. So with these changes right now, you do not need to download any ISO file from any untrusted sources or third-party websites, which might be distributing this software with malicious code hidden in it. So the first thing we have to do is we need to download the Create Windows 10 Installation Media file to build this operating system. When you head onto the website, you will see Update Now. Do not click on Update Now, okay? Because once you click on the Update Now, it's going to update your entire machine. And that is not the purpose, or that is not what you want to do, right? So we click on Download Now. This should download the Creative Media file, right? So I would like to put it where? I should put it in my music directory. So I'll just put it there and save it. Okay, now it's done. So I just open the directory. And as you can see, we have the creative media here, right? So the next thing we do is that we have to run this tool, okay? It's not going to install on your PC. It's just a tool that is going to guide you on how to build your own Windows version of the ISO file, which you require or you need to install your Windows 10 operating system. So what do we need to do right now? The first thing we need to do is that we have to now click on the media creation tool. By default, it's going to run as an administrator. So you click yes. So we have to wait for a while as the tool is trying to read our operating system, our system configurations, and hardware components, okay? So you have to be very patient about that. Once it's done, the next step will be demonstrated to you. So we close this. Okay, now it's going to tell you some applicable notices and license terms. It's okay, just scroll down if you want to read it and just click accept. So this part of the video, we'll try to skip it. It's going to take some time. So after the system check has been conducted, Microsoft Windows 10 would ask you, do you want to upgrade this PC now or create installation media, USB flash drive, DVD, or ISO file for another PC? You select this one, you click next. Now it's going to ask you, the language is United States, the edition is Windows 10, the architecture is 64. Now, by default, it's reading our system, right? That's the reason why this is grayed out. If we untick this right now, it's going to give us options, okay, to select the architecture, okay? We can say for both, we can say for 64, we can say for 32. That's if you're using a 32-bit system. But since I'm not using a 32-bit system and I don't want to create ISO file for both, I will just check this. So it's going to pick my system by default, right? Because this is a 64-bit computer. Then next is what I'm going to select. Now in this option, if you want to install this in a USB, you have to plug the USB. And of course, it has given you a requirement. It needs to be at least an 8 gigabytes memory storage of USB, right? But since we do not want to use the USB flash drive, we select the ISO file, okay? Now for this ISO file, it will tell you that you will need to burn the ISO file into a DVD later. There's no worries about that. You just click next. Then it's going to ask you, where do you want to save this ISO file? Let's save it once more again in our music so we can see this. And we call it the Windows 10 lab ISO. Okay, so we can see this later. Now we click save. Now you can see it's downloading the ISO file. It's not just downloading from the Microsoft server or cloud, it's also building it. Once it's done, you would see the next on-screen response. So while we are waiting, we would be skipping this part of the video to speed up the recording time. Now the entire files have been downloaded. You can see it's now creating the Windows 10 media, right? So as you can see, the progress is now 14% towards creating the Windows 10 media, right? So these files have been downloaded, and this is the progress made so far in creating this media. So this should not take much time in creating. And after that is done, we'll have our ISO file ready for installations. Good. Now our ISO file has been completely created. If we navigate to this directory right now, by clicking here, we'll find our ISO file. So let's click this and we can click finish. Okay, so we click this first and we can click finish. And as you can see, we have our Windows ISO file here. And that is how you can create your own Windows 10 ISO file, which you will now install on your VirtualBox machine or VM lab to create your own operating system, which you probably want to use for testing your penetration testing tools or other penetration activities you want to perform. So guys, we hope that after this video, you are now able to permanently fix the Go root issues in Kali Linux running on VirtualBox machine. You're also able to remove the older versions of Go and installing the latest versions without having issues. Furthermore, we also believe that you should be able to now manually install Go tools using Go build, or alternatively, download the binary files from the author's repository and moving it into your Go bin directory. And lastly, we have also demonstrated how you can build your own Windows 10 ISO file for your own private labs installation without the need of downloading this ISO file from untrusted and unreliable online resources. So with that, we have come to an end of this week's Tools Friday episode. We hope you have found this video interesting. If you do, please do not hesitate to give us a like by hitting that thumbs up button, subscribe by hitting that subscribe button, and hit the notification bell so that you'll be the first to get notified when next we publish another video on Tools Friday with FIXITGEARWARE-SECURITY. Thanks for watching and see you next week. Bye for now.